Okay, so among the more important moves in this program or in any program is the squat. So in order to do the squat properly, you first need to understand what it's all about. It's about training the glutes, training the lower body, and not hurting the back, not particularly using the core or the upper body too much. Those things are all going to get worked in directly, but the idea is put as much of the work from the waist down as you can and just allow or keep your core stable and strong enough that it allows for you to do that. So whenever you do a squat, you do not want to see movement between your pelvis and your rib cage or your upper shoulder. So a lot of the time when people squat, they will curl as they go, or when they get to the bottom, the butt tucks underneath. If you do that, you're just putting yourself at risk of injury. It doesn't mean you're going to hurt yourself every time you do it. It just means that every time you do it, you're getting a little bit closer to an injury or you're increasing that probability. So instead, what I want to do, if I'm doing a bodyweight squat, I just hold my hands in front of me here because I can squeeze my hands together, get my chest tight, get my back nice and tight, good posture. And then of course, as in everything else, I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm squeezing my core, trying to keep those things tight the whole time. And then all of the movement is at my hips and my knees. So my spine does not change position the whole time. I'm thinking about sitting back, letting my hips drop. It's okay if your torso is pointing at the ground like that. That is perfectly safe as long as your core is tight and as long as your glutes are doing all the work. It's not okay if you have a really weak back and you're lifting things from that position. But if everything else is tight around it, it's okay if you're leaning forward. In fact, that might be better for training your glutes. So think about sitting those hips back. It's okay if the knees move forward a little bit, but I want most of my movement to be hips back. If I start squatting by moving my knees forward first, it's just going to be a lot harder on the knees. We don't really want to go to that unless we have to. So think about keeping your knees where they are. In reality, they're going to move forward and back a little bit on their own. So just think about letting them stay or go wherever they want to go. And push those hips back. Sit as close down to parallel as you can. But again, I'm not going down so far that my back is changing position. When I do it with a bar, if you have access to a bar, it's the same exact thing. I get under the bar, I've got it just on top of my shoulder blades. Before I start my squat, what I'm going to do is pull down on the bar as though I'm doing a pull down. So I'm pulling it down into my shoulders hard to keep my back nice and straight and nice and safe the whole time. And then same exact idea. Point my feet out a little bit of the way, my knees tracking right over top of the center of my feet. Sitting down, coming back up. Good posture, head is in good alignment. I don't need to crane it up. Or look down. Nice and smooth. And nothing in that back changes position. It's just my hips and my knees doing all the work. The other big important thing to remember here is that you want to push the knees out a little bit so that you get the glutes working, but you don't want to come up on the outside of your feet. A lot of people will squat like this. And what that means is that you're probably not using the glutes well. You want to push through the base of the big toe, the base of the little toe, and the heel. All those things should be touching. Don't think about only through the heel or only through the toe. So I want to keep pushing through, especially the base of that big toe, the whole time. I'm thinking about it making contact with the ground the whole time. And that's going to keep my glutes engaged. It's going to keep my core engaged more. So that's how we stay safe when we squat and progress as you can. Make it a little bit harder by, even if you're just doing the goblet squat variation, even just holding this position, this can be loaded. Okay, so I can grab a weight plate, I can grab a 4-liter water jug. Doing it with a barbell on your back, obviously you can load it up with more and more weight over time, but this is plenty challenging if you go in a nice controlled tempo with your body weight for quite a while.